The chapters from Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door are the best in the series in my opinion. I mean, it's kinda close with Origami King, but in my opinion, Thousand Year Door has easily the best. So I decided, let's make you guys vote on your favorite chapters from this game. And the poll got a total of 48 votes, which I do appreciate, because not many people have actually played this game. So yeah, it's actually kind of surprising that I actually got that amount, so thank you guys for that. So, let's just get right into the results. But I do want to mention, I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Someone suggested that, and I actually think it's going to be really hard to, so if we can hit it, I'd really appreciate that. So if you know a Mario RPG fan that isn't subscribed, make sure to tell them. But other than that, let's get started on this video. Chapter 2 is my least favorite chapter in Thousand Year Door. It did get a couple of votes, so credit where credit is due. I mean, every single chapter got a couple of votes, so that's fair enough. But it did get in a tiebreaker with the number 7 spot, and it lost by a lot. It got 30% of the votes, which is not very many. So yeah, I mean, Chapter 2, it's not very good. I mean, I really do not like many parts of it. I mean, I like Flurry, kind of. I like the Shadow Sirens fight that you had before entering the Boggly Tree. But that's basically where the positives stop. I mean, I don't really like the enemies here. They're kind of annoying to deal with. I do not like the Boggly Tree. It's just a navigation nightmare. I do not like the boss here. I mean, it's very generic. It's literally just Lord Crump. And lastly, I said this before, and I'm not sure many people agree with this. I just think that the Punies are really hard to control, especially when you get 100 of them. I mean, I personally don't really like Pikmin games, and the Punies really remind me of them, because I don't really like Pikmin games just because they're very hard to control, all 100 of them when they're all on the battlefield. That's exactly how I feel with the Punies, so it's just not going to give me good memories, so yeah, it's basically why I don't like Chapter 2. I'm pretty sure not many people like this place because of the navigation, but for me personally, the Pikmin controls are my least favorite thing about it. But at the end of the day, we both really do not like Chapter 2, so that's all that matters. Chapter 1 is definitely way better than Chapter 2. I'm so glad it actually won the tiebreaker vote. It got 70% of the tiebreakers. That's 14. That's really good. I'm very glad it did. I mean, Chapter 1, at the end of the day, I'm gonna get the biggest problem out of the way. It's basic. It's Chapter 1. It has the exact same formula that I keep mentioning for every single Paper Mario game for its Chapter 1s. It's a plains area, and then a castle thing, and that's exactly what Thousand Year Door has as well. It's why not many people actually voted for it, which I do understand why, but it does have Hooktail. It does have Hooktail's castle, which is very fun to navigate. Also, Hooktail is a pretty good boss. I like Koops. I like the village here, and I like the Thwomp Caverns here. I mean, obviously that's not what it's called. That's from Partners in Time, but you get what I'm talking about. I mean, I definitely like a decent amount of things in Chapter 1, but at the end of the day, the whole chapter itself is basic, which is why not many people voted for it. There's just better chapters in the game compared to Chapter 1. Chapter 5 is a really good chapter in my opinion, so I have no clue how it only got 3 votes. Actually, I have a very big clue. It's, well, people like this chapter, they may even love it, but it's not their favorite. And I'd have to agree with that. It's in my top 3, but it's not my favorite chapter in the game, so I guess it kind of makes sense. But it went into a tiebreaker, and it lost. Chapter 5 lost a tiebreaker, and this tiebreaker does not include Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. That was a different tiebreaker. Both these chapters got 3 votes, and it lost. It barely lost, but it still lost at the end of the day. And it's really disappointing because I know what chapter beat it, and it just doesn't make sense to me, and I absolutely disagree with it. I mean, Chapter 5, I love Bombray and his story. I love the island that you land on. I love Cortez in the battle. I like the caverns. I love navigating it. I love the pirate battle you have with Cortez. You team up with him, which is very cool. I love this chapter. There's so much with it, and it's very enjoyable. But apparently you guys just didn't really like it that much, or just wouldn't vote for it on the tiebreaker. I don't get it. I really don't have any problems with Chapter 5. I love the boat ability as well. So it's really disappointing to see that I got this low on the list. How in the world did Chapter 8 win? I don't get it. Chapter 8 is not that good in my opinion. I mean, it's just not that good. I mean, the place itself is not that good. I think the bosses here are obviously pretty good. I mean, you got Bowser and Cammy, you got Lord Grotus, you got the Shadow Queen, of course, you got Gloomtail. I mean, there's some good bosses here, but just the chapter itself, the location you're at, I mean, it's cool, but it's so annoying to navigate, and it's so long. It's such a long chapter, and it's just very annoying to me. And it's why I don't really like this chapter that much, which why I really don't get it. I don't really get how many people voted for it in the tiebreaker. I just personally don't get it. I personally love Chapter 5 way more than I do with Chapter 8. But you guys decided to vote for Chapter 8, and I can't really stop you. This list is not my opinion, it's your guys's. And you guys decided to put Chapter 8 higher. Doesn't make sense to me, but you guys wanted it. So, here you go. There is no more tiebreakers on the list, and I just want to mention that you guys nailed the position where Chapter 6 is. 4th place is the perfect position, in my opinion, because it only got 5 votes, which is actually a decent amount of votes, but I don't think it's super high on the list. It's right at the middle, and that's the thing about it. I think it's a decent chapter. I think that it's actually better than Chapter 8 now. I'm pretty sure I had it at like number 6, but now I have it at number 5, for my personal opinion. I mean, it's a decent chapter. The only problem I've mentioned is, on your second playthrough onward, the chapter just isn't going to be as good, because this chapter relies on the mystery aspect. Well, you kind of already know the answer to the mystery if you played this game more than once, so that's mainly why I don't really care about this chapter too much, but at the end of the day, I like the station that you stop at. I like the S'more boss fight, and I like the village that you actually stop at after. I mean, there is still a decent amount of stuff I do like about Chapter 6, which is why I now have it above Chapter 8. And for the people that actually have only played Thousand Year Door once, it being very high in the list makes sense. But for me, personally, I have it a bit lower, so it being at number 4 is the perfect balance for it, which is why I think it's at the perfect position for this list. How in the world did Chapter 7 get so high? How? It's my second least favorite chapter in the game, and it got 6 votes. I mean, 6 votes doesn't really sound like that much, but that's around 12% of the poll. That's ridiculous! I mean, Chapter 7 is notoriously the most hated chapter in the game most of the time. And don't get me wrong, the Exnot Fortress was definitely fun to go through. But General White sucked. I think that the chapter boss here is really underwhelming with just Lord Crump again. And you could have just fought Lord Grotus, but no, it was Lord Crump. I know the Exnot Fortress is really fun to go through, and it might have made up for you guys. And personally, that makes up for it to be the bottom of the list. Like, I personally dislike Chapter 2 more. But it's just really stupid that I got so high on this list. It just doesn't make sense to me. And, well, yeah, it got this high, I can't really do anything about it, but this is the biggest shocker on the list. I have no idea how Chapter 7 even beat Chapter 6. That's so flabbergasting to me. That's just, how? Chapter 4 has a lot going on. I'm just gonna get the main problem out of the way because everyone kind of knows it. Chapter 4 has some really bad backtracking. Like, really bad backtracking. And personally, I don't mind, but it's probably a main reason why people didn't vote for this chapter. I mean, 9 people did, which means that they really didn't mind the backtracking or actually enjoyed it. And personally, I also enjoy the backtracking. But it's not my favorite chapter, it's my second favorite, as you kind of know. So I didn't personally vote for it. I mean, I didn't vote anyway, but you get the point. So I really like this chapter. I mean, I like all the stuff with Duplis. I like the curse on the village people, turning them into pigs. I like the music and atmosphere of the place. I like all the enemies. They're hard. I mean, I like the creepy steeple layout. I like a lot about Chapter 4. And the backtracking, personally, for me, I don't mind it at all. Which is why it's my second favorite chapter and why 9 people voted for it. It's not number 1 because it never was going to be number 1. Because you guys know exactly what number 1 is. Of course Chapter 3 was going to be number 1. I mean, it's easily the best chapter in my opinion. Well, not easily, because Chapter 4 is also really good, but, I mean, it was easily the best chapter to you guys. It got double the votes of what Chapter 4 got, and personally, I do agree, because even though it has that mystery element, it's not everywhere, it's definitely paced out well, but it's also less memorable compared to Chapter 6. It doesn't have a focus on the mystery element, which makes it less memorable, which is a good thing, because if you remember the mystery like Chapter 6, it's not going to be as good. And even if the mystery element is completely memorized by you, the main appeal of this chapter is that you're trying to battle your way up until you get to the top spot. And there's a lot of battles and conditions that make them very fun. You also get to battle Bowser here. You get to battle Rockhawk, which is a great fight. You also get to battle Grubba here, which is also a really good fight. I mean, there's just really good things about Chapter 3. And of course it was going to be number 1. I mean, I have no problems with Chapter 3. And it was a great chapter to have right after Chapter 2. So it's my favorite chapter in Thousand Year Door, and it's not really that close. Thank you guys for watching this video. My next video will actually be something I don't really know. I mean, we're finally done with the fan voted poll, so I'm not really sure yet. But thank you guys for watching this video. If you lasted this long and you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But other than that, G-bye.